Before you press play, ask yourself one question. Are you ready to see something you won't forget? This isn't just another story. This is a warning about a school buried in silence, stained in blood, and haunted by something far more sinister than ghosts. They say if you hear the third bell after midnight, you're already marked. Every scream, every shadow, every whisper in this tale comes from a truth darker than fiction. So turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and whatever you do, don't look behind you. Welcome to The Bell Rings After Midnight. You've been warned. The rain had started the moment the cab crossed the wrought iron gates of St. Dimphna's High. The school stood like a forgotten castle at the edge of nowhere, a cluster of old brick buildings wrapped in ivy, with a single dead bell tower stabbing into the sky like a broken tooth. Zion Winters sat in the back seat, his bag cradled on his lap, his fingers tight around the strap. The cab driver, a grizzled man with a faded tattoo on his neck, hadn't said a word since they left the station. When he finally pulled up to the school's main entrance, he muttered something under his breath. "What was that?" Zion asked. The man looked at him through the rearview mirror. "Just don't go wandering at night, son, especially not near the old wing." Before Zion could ask more, the man handed him his bag, got in the car and drove away, tires skidding slightly on the wet gravel. Welcome to St. Dimphna's. The lobby smelled like wood polish, old paper, and something faintly sour, like wet stone. A receptionist with a tight bun handed him a map of the campus and a key labeled Dorm B, Room 17. She didn't smile. "You're just in time," she said, sliding a folder across the desk. "Your orientation starts at 7 sharp, don't be late." As Zion walked the narrow hallways toward the dorms, he passed faded portraits, rusted radiators, and locked wooden doors. The floorboards creaked underfoot like they were sighing. The dorm room was basic. 2 beds, 2 desks, and a window that stared out toward the dark forest surrounding the campus. His roommate wasn't there yet. Zion dropped his bag, pulled back the curtains, and spotted something strange. A single black shape standing still near the trees. It looked like a person, but not quite. No umbrella, no movement, just watching. He blinked, and it was gone. The orientation was held in the auditorium, a gloomy place that smelled like damp velvet. About 50 students were seated in rows, all looking like they wanted to be anywhere else. Zion slid into a seat next to a tall, skinny kid, with dark curls and a nervous energy. "I'm Caleb," the boy whispered, extending a hand. "Transfer? Yeah. Zion, cool name, this place sucks." Before Zion could respond, the lights dimmed, and the headmaster stepped onto the stage. Mr. Fevrin was tall, pale, and moved like someone whose bones didn't quite fit right. His eyes scanned the room like searchlights. "Welcome," he said in a gravelly voice. "You are now part of a legacy. St. Dimphna's is not like other schools. We expect discipline, intelligence, and obedience. Follow the rules and you will thrive. Break them." His eyes lingered too long on Zion, "and the school will take care of you." The auditorium fell silent. Then the lights returned, and a nervous laugh bubbled up in the crowd. Caleb leaned in. "Creepy bastard, huh?" Zion nodded. He couldn't stop thinking about the black figure near the woods. Later that night, as he unpacked, his roommate arrived. A sharp-jawed guy with earbuds in and a hoodie pulled low. He tossed his bag onto the bed and didn't say a word. "Hey," Zion tried. "I'm Zion." The guy nodded. "Eli, that was it. No small talk, no welcome." As the rain picked up outside, Zion lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. The radiator clanked, the wind howled. Then faintly a sound rose through the air, distant but unmistakable. Ding, 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 a bell, midnight. He checked his phone. 12 a.m. sharp. He turned to Eli. "Did you hear that?" "Hear what?" "The bell." Eli turned slowly, pulling out one earbud. His face was serious. "There's no working bell in this school." Zion blinked. "I just heard it." Eli sat up. "You're sure?" "Yes." Eli's voice lowered. "Don't say anything to the others. Just don't go near the old wing." "Why not?" But Eli just lay back down and turned away, pulling the blanket over his head. Zion stayed awake long after that, listening to the silence, wondering if he had imagined the sound. He didn't know that 5 rooms down, another student, a girl named Madeline, had vanished from her bed, and the next morning, her name would already be scraped off the dorm door. Zion noticed it the moment he stepped out of his dorm. The hallway was too quiet. Eli had left early without a word. Other doors were open, some students brushing their teeth, some heading to class, but something felt off. A strange tension hovered in the air, like everyone was pretending too hard to act normal. As he passed dorm room 12, he paused. The door was slightly open, and the nameplate outside had been scratched. Literally scratched, with jagged gouges like claws, where it used to read Madeline G. It now said nothing. Zayan looked around. No one else seemed to notice. He leaned into the doorway. Hello? The room was empty. One bed untouched. The other, the left one, still had an open textbook on it and a half-finished water bottle. Someone had left in a hurry. He stepped inside. The air felt colder here. He reached for the textbook, then froze. A smear of something dark trailed across the floor from the edge of the bed, leading to the closet. Zayan's breath caught. He took one step toward it. Then a voice behind him made him jump. Don't! It was Caleb standing at the door. Zayan backed away. Did you see this? I saw her last night. Madeline. We were at orientation. She was fine. She's gone. Caleb gave a nervous glance over his shoulder. They'll pretend she never existed. That's how this place works. What are you talking about? You heard the bell, didn't you? Zayan stared at him. You did. I can tell. Zayan nodded. Midnight. Caleb shut the door behind them. That bell hasn't worked in decades. After the fire, they shut that wing down. It's been sealed ever since. But some nights, the bell rings. Why? No one knows. All I know is anyone who hears it, really hears it, ends up different, or they vanish, or worse. Zayan swallowed. Worse? Caleb leaned in. 1 year ago, there was a girl, Alina Dobrev, heard the bell, told people. She was found 3 days later, her mouth sewn shut. She couldn't even scream. Zayan felt a chill snake down his spine. This school has secrets, Caleb continued. You either ignore them or they eat you. In the library that afternoon, Zayan tried to find any records about the bell tower or the old wing. He found dusty student yearbooks and archives that hadn't been opened in decades, but something odd kept happening. Pages were missing, names were redacted. There were photos of group classes with a single face blurred or scratched out. In one, he noticed a handwritten caption, Alina D, last seen autumn term 2023. He turned the page, ripped. The librarian, a thin woman with silver-rimmed glasses, caught him staring. You should stick to current reading lists, she said, voice cold. History here tends to bury its dead. That night, Zayan lay awake again. Rain tapped against the window. Eli was snoring softly. 11:59 p.m. He sat up. Tick, tick, ding, ding, ding. 12 loud, echoing chimes. The bell again. He threw back the sheets and rushed to the window. This time the forest wasn't empty. There were 3 black shapes standing in a triangle formation, still, silent, watching, and then he noticed something worse. The old wing, the part that had been sealed off, locked and boarded, now had a light on in one of its windows. Yellow, flickering. Someone was inside. He blinked once. The window went dark. So did the shapes. Gone. The next morning, Zayan wasn't the only one acting weird. Other students looked tired, edgy. Eli avoided his eyes. Even Caleb wouldn't say much. At lunch, someone screamed. In the courtyard, a uniform shirt was hanging from the bell tower rope, soaked in blood. A name tag still attached. Thomas Lee, Class C. Zayan didn't know him, but others did. Girls were crying. Faculty rushed in. 10 minutes later, Headmaster Everon addressed the students with that same stony calm. A prank, he said. A tasteless act. Mr. Lee is on medical leave. Zayan stared. That was blood. No questions, Everon said firmly. And no one is allowed near the old wing. Violators will be expelled. But in the back of the room, Caleb whispered to Zayan. Thomas heard the bell too. The school had changed. Students whispered in corners. Staff walked in pairs. The old wing, once sealed, now stood open. Not officially, not publicly. But the doors were never locked anymore, and every night at midnight, the bell rang, 12 times, always 12. Zayan hadn't slept in days. Eli was gone. Just like Madeline. Just like Thomas. No explanations. Just empty beds and medical leave letters. Even Caleb was missing now. Only Zayan remembered them. Everyone else forgot. Or pretended to. But Zayan had found a clue. In the torn library archives beneath a false bottom in a filing drawer was a faded map. It showed the original grounds of Durnhill Academy, built in 1891, centered around the bell tower. But back then the tower had a different name, the Chapel of the 13th Bell. Zayan stared at it for hours, until he understood. There had always been 13 bells. Not 12, 13. The old wing. He went alone. AM, past curfew, flashlight flickering, every corridor colder than the last. The old wing stank of mold and rotting wood. The walls were warped, the air was heavy. He reached the staircase to the tower. A girl stood at the bottom step, pale, wearing a bloodied uniform blouse. Her mouth was sewn shut. She looked at him with wide, pleading eyes. Zayan froze. Alina? She nodded once, slow, then pointed upward. Zayan swallowed. They're up there, aren't they? She pointed again, then vanished. The bell tower. He climbed. 1 step, 2, 40, until the spiral stairs ended in a wooden landing. The bell hung above him, huge, rusted, heavy as fate. Below it, a circle of names carved into the stone floor. 12 names. Madeline G. Thomas Lee, Eli Moore, Caleb Rohn, Alina Dobrev. 7 more, names he didn't know. Zayan's heart pounded. There was space for a 13th name. The rope to the bell swayed gently. No wind, and then a voice behind him. You weren't supposed to find this. Headmaster Everin stepped from the shadows. His eyes were black, completely, like ink had drowned his soul. This school was never a school, it's a gate, a holding place. He gestured to the bell. Every soul bound here feeds the seal. 1 ring for each. Zayan backed away. You lied to all of us. Everin's voice dropped. We fed you lies. You drank them. That's how you stay quiet. That's how the bell keeps ringing. Zayan raised his flashlight, flickering, and looked at the names again, 12 names, but something was wrong. One of them, the 11th, had started to change. Letters fading, being rewritten. Z-Y-A-N, no, he whispered. No. Everin grabbed the rope. The bell shook. Zayan screamed and lunged. Too late. Dong. The 13th bell. Everything cracked. Reality, like glass, shattered around him. The aftermath. No one remembered Zayan Khan. The school year continued. New students arrived. New photos on the walls. 12 bells rang every midnight. No more, no less. No one questioned it. In the old library, the archives were gone, replaced by fiction. In the bell tower, 12 names remained. No 13th, but sometimes, if you climbed alone past the sealed stairs and listened very closely, you could still hear it. A 13th ring, one that didn't echo, one that watched.